followed by a short invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag, to the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Father God, now we just want to pause and say thank you for allowing us to come back here to the village of Woodlawn to do what's more important for the people of Woodlawn. Father God, I ask right now that you touch me in a special way, Lord. I thank you for bringing me back safe and sound and healed, Lord. I just thank my council members for the support that they have given me over the few months, Lord. I just ask that we continue to do what is best for the village of Woodlawn. And these blessings we ask in thy son Jesus' name and for his sake. Amen.
Amen.
Roll call, please.
Esther Boyd.
Here.
Rosemary Brown.
Present.
Cindy Chandler.
Present.
Pamela Fitzgerald.
Present.
Robert Lawson.
Present.
Michelle Starr.
Present.
Mayor Poole.
Present. All right. Reading and disposal of the previous minutes, I need a motion to approve the minutes from your regular council meeting on March 26, 2024, with any deletions, additions, or addition to it in front of us.
I'll make that motion for approval for the council minutes.
I'll second.
Motion been moved and properly second. All ayes?
Aye. Aye.
Very well. All right. Motion to approve, amend the agenda. Where'd that come from? Okay, do we have any appointments? None. Committee reports. Committee of the Whole, that was on April the 9th, 2024. Ms. Chandler, did you?
Cal?
Yes, for
I'm
April the
sorry.
9th, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And excuse me one second there. I picked up the wrong packet. One moment. Thank you for all being patient. Committee of the Whole was held on April the 9th, 2024. Meeting was called to order at 6:51. Members present: Esther Boyd, Rosemary Brown, myself, Michelle Starr. Also present were Chief Williams, Sergeant Lawson, Miss Victoria Banks, Chief Johnson, and Miss Paula Sherman. I move to excuse Miss Fitzgerald, Mayor Poole, and Robert Lawson. Miss Starr seconded. There was a Parks and Recreation report. Ms. Sherman gave a report of upcoming events and also provided details in the recreation program brochure. And she also talked about past events that have taken place at the recreation department. We talked about Mount Zion having a leadership conference in October, and that they would like to have to partner with the village of Woodlawn. There was discussion surrounding that, and it looks like it would be a great benefit for the partnership. Ms. Banks was also able to provide us with an updated public records report. Talked about equipment that needs to be repaired. Also, Ms. Banks announced the spring cleanup, which started the week of April 15th. And just from my vantage point, it looks like that went really well and is ongoing. Just driving through the community, it looks like the notification was out to the community, and a lot of people took advantage of that, so thank you for that. Chief Johnson provided us with a report for the fire department. He talked about grants that they are applying for and some grants that they have already received. He talked about trainings in which some are fire inspector training, firefighter transition class, also 16 company officers attending a training at Coleraine, fireground decision being made. Public education for the Woodlawn Fire Department. They will be painting and checking throughout the village, revisit the therapy dog for the firehouse. As many of you know, the fire department had always had a fire dog, so we're looking at incorporating back the dog back into the firefighter program. He also discussed the need for a shed at the firehouse. He also talked about some fire apparatus that needs to be repaired and the routes or the hospitals in which Village of Woodlawn Fire Department is transporting to, which are Christ Hospital, Jewish Hospital, Pre-Hospital Care Committee, and also the Dayton Fire Community Paramedicine meeting in which he discussed that seemed to go really well and was well attended. The police department gave a report by, Chief Williams gave a report on the police department, and we still have one opening for our police officer position. The date will be extended for the applicants. It looks like that date will be extended until the position is filled. We have updated and upgraded some things in the firehouse just to bring things up to speed. Some painting and recarpeting has taken place at our police department. Chief Williams, he stated that he began Pell classes on the week of 4/15. We wish him well in that endeavor. Talked about some reports of break-ins and some robberies in which the police department was able to get on top of very quickly. Then we moved to the village manager update, and Mr. Engel reported on the following. He reported on Juneteenth event, which the next meeting was held on April 18th. He also talked about road projects. He talked about lawn and leaf pickup, and I'm not going to go into detail as he will during his village manager report. We will be resuming the road construction on Ronnie and Woodstock. We talked about the update of Recreation Department program analysis. And one thing to mention also, Neighborhood Allies, they are here and ready to serve the community and neighboring communities, and it seems like that resource is being really, really well supported by the community. He also talked about our new finance director, Mr. Chris, was able to acquire a loan for trucks for the village. Again, I'm not going to steal Mr. Engel's thunder. He will touch base on this in his report. The new business stated that Ms. Brown, her initiative, she would like to continue the yard sale this year and looking at some dates. Stay tuned for that announcement coming soon. And the meeting was adjourned at 9:01.
Any questions for Ms. Chandler and Committee of the Whole? Having none, Planning Commission, Ms. Brown, can you briefly report on Planning Commission from April 11, 2024?
Sure. That meeting was held at 11 a.m. on the 11th of April. And one of the primary reasons for that meeting was to begin the process for a zone text amendment change for Springfield Pike Corridor Overlay District. Presently now, the zoning text amendment we're looking at is 1282.05, and right now that text calls for a 0-foot setback. And what the Planning Commission is suggesting, recommending, is that text be amended to say that we're asking that now all new constructions have a 20-foot setback and a 10-foot setback on the side yard. That's one of the reasons for that is because if you've been down Springfield Pike, you'll see that one of the businesses is right up on the sidewalk, right next to the road. We feel that's somewhat of a safety hazard, and in an attempt to make sure that we're, in good standings and safety, we're looking to put it back back to a 20-foot setback. And so that's a process that takes 3 hearings. So that first hearing was held. The next hearing is going to be May the 9th, and at that hearing, we'll make a recommendation to council. And then there'll be a third public hearing. And at that hearing, the council, will schedule for a public meeting, and they will decide whether or not they'll accept that recommendation.
Good stuff.
And the other 2 items that were on the agenda, one being Dairy Queen regarding the traffic issue that we have down there. There was some discussion regarding that. And then there's another business that we're looking to bring into compliance. And that's it.
All right, very well. Any questions for Ms. Brown and Planning Commission?
Yes, I have a
Fa-
question.
Sure.
That 20-foot setback, is that data that you guys have gotten from, I don't know, industry standards, or is that something that the village is speculating that it would be safe?
It, two-part question I heard, if I'm not mistaken, Ms. Brown, if you don't mind me interjecting. There's a two-part I'm hearing. One, the 0 is a safety. It's clearly a safety issue to have a 0 setback. So she was referring to the business on Springfield Pike that is currently there now with a 0 setback. If you went past that on the sidewalk, you are basically in their building, okay? So it's a safety issue. These, what do you want to call them? I want to call it correctly so you understand. In the text amendment, I think it needs to look at so we don't have that again. Because what we don't want is having businesses that close to the road. So in a nutshell, it just poses a safety hazard for the business, anybody that's walking on that sidewalk that close to the building. So the Planning Commission is looking at amending that text so that in the event that someone comes along and wants to build in the village of Woodlawn, they have to be 20 feet back.
Yes, and that 20-foot number comes from where? Was it an industry standard?
I wouldn't call it it could be called an
question.
industry standard. That's
Yeah,
fair.
and I guess
You
you
can
could
call
call
that.
it industry standard.
Yeah.
We actually had 2 meetings about it. The 20-foot setback was basically what Hamilton County said was kind of typical throughout most of the communities in the county.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Typical,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So that doesn't mean it's
All right.
mandated.
No, so it's your
Yes.
village, right?
It-
So you can set it where you want it, but
Yeah.
that's the
So
typical.
where are
yeah.
most of them? They're sitting back more than,
They're more.
Then 0.
they're probably,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
They're more than.
They are.
Yeah,
So why,
And
but
Yes.
why did you guys accept 20 versus 30 or 40? I'm just asking, like, why 20?
so the 20 is what is generally what is around the county. And so the 20 is a minimum, right?
Yes.
So you can go back further if you want to.
Wanted to.
But we want there to be at least 20 feet,
Okay.
and that was kind of what was typical around the county.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Very well. All right. All right. Finance meeting. Ms. Fitzgerald, can you report on that? I think Ms. Chandler was out. Can you
Yes.
report on that, please?
Sure can. Finance Committee meeting was April 22nd at 7 p.m. The meeting was called to order at 7:05. Members present was myself and Michelle Starr. We excused Ms. Chandler from the meeting, and Ms. Starr seconded. Also present was Mr. Lauren Crisp, Ms. Rosemary, and Ms. Esther Boyd. I'll just report on partial of the finance information, and then I'll turn it over to our finance director. Income tax update. The village collected $572,770.35 in taxes related to the month of March. It was distributed by fund. General fund, $456,224.04. Road tax, $74,709.18. Debt, $26,895.30. And capital projects, $14,941.83, for a total of the $572,770.35. Receipts since inception was $4,550,935.02. We dispersed $2,972,216.69, and the fund balance is $1,578,718.33. And then I will turn this over to the finance director for the remainder of the update.
Okay, very well. Okay. Municipal man, any questions for Ms. Fitzgerald? No. None? All right, having none, municipal managers report.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and briefly kind of update everybody on what's going on in the village. Juneteenth, 2024, we continue to have meetings with Call to Play. We had a meeting this month where we discussed the emergency plan put together by the fire department, as well as some other items. And we'll begin having those meetings more frequently as the event approaches. Lee Crest Road and Redmond Terrace, work on Redmond Terrace has already begun. Those businesses are ecstatic. Lee Crest Road, work on that particular job will begin in 2025. The engineers are working on some additional drawings and other items for that. Lawn and leaf pickup, I've been talking to the Public Works Director and we're trying to bring leaf pickup back to the village. We'll go ahead and continue to use Rumpke services as well this year. We're not going to discontinue those, but the goal is to bring our own pickup back along with Rumpke. So we're talking to the Finance Director as well as the Public Works Director. We'll need to go ahead and try to get some seasonal folks to help us out during that time. And we're also kind of looking at some Plan Bs as well, but that's something that we know is important to the village and we're very much trying to facilitate. We did put in a grant application for a new chipper shredder with Hamilton County Resource. We have not heard back from them, but that, if funded, that would cover 75% of the cost of a new chipper shredder. Baseball fields have been reconditioned. They look beautiful. Coach Terry Shipman, who coaches our baseball teams in the village, actually called me earlier yesterday and told me how pleased he was with the fields. So I'm glad the kids enjoyed them, glad Coach enjoyed them. They do look really pretty if you haven't gone out and taken a look at them. Ronnie and Woodstock timeline. We are continuing to work on Ronnie and Woodstock Road. We did push, I think originally we were trying to get additional work done on those roads towards the end of April. We pushed that back a little bit into May. We are having some discussions with Neiman Brothers about adding the river rock. We had talked about having Public Works do it, and I think kind of looking at the job and the types of elevations, we just prefer Neiman take care of that. Also, we need to put the rock down before we put on the final layer of asphalt, because you don't want heavy trucks with rocks going over your nice new asphalted road. So we're looking towards the end of May to start to complete that work again, but that will get done. The Hamilton County Revitalization Grant, I just received confirmation that we'll be closing on May 1st on the properties on Springfield Pike, so that's really good news. Springfield Pike and Gruninger improvements, talked to the engineers. We're working on redrawing those a little bit to use the existing right-of-way owned by the village to make sure that that project can be completed on time. We are looking to bid that project out in the fall of this year. We may start it in the fall, or it may start very early next year, but that project is it is going to move forward. Same thing with Glendale Milford roads sidewalk projects. That will also be bid out and will start next year. The salt barn at Public Works is continuing to be completed. We're all anxiously awaiting the last piece to be added to that. Regional Safety Complex, we did talk about that the last time. The timeline for the Regional Safety Complex has been extended to early April of 2026. So when I say that, that is the closing and moving of the gun range. So April of 2026 is the new end date for that construction. Tri-State Trails continues to work on their feasibility studies and meet periodically to discuss the continuation of the trails throughout the county. Canoes and Conversations, we continue to meet with that group to discuss the event that will take place on June the 1st. The law director did draft an agreement for the event to be signed by the Mill Creek Alliance. This agreement will also need to be approved by the Village Council and was provided earlier at Committee of the Whole, and that's on the agenda tonight for approval. Neighborhood Allies, as we reported before, continue to do great work in the village. They will be here again on Friday, May 10th. So if you know anybody that needs some help, please do direct them to come down to the rec center on Friday, May the 10th. Neighborhood Allies will be here. The fire department made their first non-emergency transport this month. It was a non-contract call, and all parties were happy with the service. As soon as contracts are in place, the fire department will hire some additional part-time staff to regularly perform these services, and will eventually hire full-time staff as services grow. So that's really good news as we're building that new service. The Grove Avenue purchase, we did close on that property on April 15th. The goal is to use that property for community garden space. And I will remind everybody that the fire levy does expire this month, so we will have legislation later in the month to put a renewal of the levy on the ballot. Building issues, we are still looking into working with CT consultants to do a building evaluation to determine what types of new buildings we might need, what cost of renovating buildings is versus building new ones. That will continue up throughout this year, and we'll provide a report as soon as we have one. And then just wanted to note that kind of this first quarter of the year is kind of, we've had a tough quarter here in Woodlawn, right? We've lost a lot of people publicly that we've talked about. We lost Mark Mitchell. We lost Bridget Kelly from Hamilton County. But we've also lost some folks here in our Woodlawn family. You know, these especially in March, people lost parents, people lost spouses. And we're a really small office. And so when people are out of the office, we notice. And one thing that I can tell you and tell everybody watching is that the village never stopped working for you. And it wasn't just the day-to-day stuff, because we all know that when we experience tragedies, the bills still come. Things still need to be done. The world doesn't stop. We took care of those things. But also during that time, we put in several grant applications. The fire department continued to work towards additional services. The police chief continued to work towards education. The recreations department continued to work towards hiring new staff. Public Works continued to do everything they can to maintain the village. And they did a heck of a job. The other thing I will say is I just got word today, I was watching the Hamilton County Commissioners meeting, and the village was awarded a CDAP grant in the amount of $64,000 to purchase some additional property in the village. So again, we don't stop working for you. We just want you all to know that we appreciate you, and it doesn't stop.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Good job. Any questions for our village manager? Good report, Tim. Good report. That's just good news. It's always good to celebrate, especially when we get, again, we talked about having that seat at the county level, and it just seems like we are just continuing to be looked at and awarded these things. So we're going to continue to have that relationship with them on the county level. So good report, good report, good report. Finance Director.
Biggest communication.
Did I say that? Communication petition claim to the public. Did anyone speak out tonight?
They're done.
All right, very well. Finance Director's report. Mr. Chris?
I'll just continue on through the report here. Budget-wise, we were 25% through the year, and it's all funds in total. We collected 18% of budgeted revenues and expended 15% of budgeted or appropriation budgeted expenses. For the month of March, the village collected $750,184, and we dispersed $766,871. As far as the general fund, they had dispersed 25% of the general fund budget, collected 22% of the general fund budgeted revenues. The village, right after March close, the village did receive their first property tax settlement from the county auditor in the amount of $967,854, and that was distributed between the general swimming pool, fire EMS, special assessment funds.
Okay.
Included in the finance report was fund status, the fund cash balances of all the different funds. The bank reconciliation was also included. Overtime report, the village spent $17,044 in overtime for the month of March. That was actually down from the previous month.
Notice.
Police department, fire department were 51% and 35% respectively. Village salary expense, village in total spent $99,290 on salaries and benefits in 2024, more than the 2023 for the same period. So that was 8% over 2023. The recreation income versus receipts was $17,228 receipts, $98,466 in expenditures. For receipts, under expenditures, $81,238. And included in this packet, in this information, is a list of receipts and payments for the month of March for your approval.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Crisp? No questions for Mr. Crisp? All right, very well. Law Director's report.
We need to do the motion to approve.
Oh, that's right. All right, get me right. All right, I do need a motion to approve the receipt listing and payment listing and bank reconciliation for finance.
I'd like to make a motion for approval of the the financial reports.
The receipt listing, payment listing, and bank reconciliation? Okay.
I'll second it.
All right. Motion been moving properly. Second. All ayes.
Aye.
Very well. Good job. Law Director's report.
Just a couple of items, really. First, and I think Tim already mentioned this, we are closing on the Springfield Pike properties tomorrow. So that will be done and transferred. And then the only other item is there is one additional piece of legislation in the packets, and that is to amend the ordinance we passed last month on refinancing the bonds, the real estate acquisition bond notes, anticipation notes. That was due, we couldn't get the interest rate that we had anticipated, and we have to increase the maximum on those to 8%.
Okay.
Those are the only things I had.
Okay. All right. Any questions for Law Director? You have a question?
In basic English,
Yeah.
can you please explain that?
The,
For the, this.
so we borrowed money to purchase some real estate a couple of years ago through the issuance of bond anticipation notes.
Right,
And those needed to be refinanced. And when we went to do it, the rate that we anticipated being able to lock in at was not available. So the legislation that council passed at that time had a maximum of 6%, and we were not able to do it for 6%. So now we have to increase it to 8%.
is that common?
Yeah, I mean, the numbers change
Okay.
a lot, and right now,
Yeah.
the market is just kind of,
Okay,
We've
Market.
benefited in past years because the rates were so low.
Right.
okay.
And as everybody's noticed that's trying to buy a house right now, those rates have been ticking up.
Yeah.
So this is just a result of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Very well. Mayor's report. Couple things I want to bring to the attention. I just want to go backwards a little bit. Canoes and Conversation, it has been in the planning for some time. We're going to host it here this year. I'm excited about that. We had a wonderful time. Several years ago, we all went down Sharonville, Evendale, somewhere we went. Had a wonderful time with that. So I encourage all to sign up for that. It's a wonderful time to come out and just have a great day with our residents and friends from our neighboring communities. So we're looking really forward to that on June 1st. Hats off to Ashley Madden back there. Ashley, of course, with the Arbor Day every year, just did a fantastic job. I wasn't able to join her this year with the children of Woodlawn, but nevertheless, Ashley always did a fantastic job. Her and Monica just put on a show when it comes to that Arbor Day, so we're excited about that. On Saturday, the AKAs, Alpha Phi Alpha Incorporated, the ladies of that organization came out. They planted some trees as well on Saturday, so that was a nice event. Michelle, I believe that she kind of spearheaded that a little bit, so thank you for that. We want to make sure.
That was Phi Psi Omega chapter. I think you said something else.
I said AKA Incorporated. I didn't say the chapter though.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I thought you said
I didn't say the
something.
chapter. No, I didn't want to mess that part up.
Okay.
Yes, so we want to thank them for coming out as well. As Tim mentioned earlier, we want to continue to keep our eye on the upcoming road projects here in the village. It's going to get a little messy around here, so we just want to make sure that our residents are aware of that. He mentioned in his report, and I wanted to go back because for whatever reason, Tim, I shared this with you, every 3 months I receive a letter from a resident. I don't know who this resident is, where they live, but it talks about Lee Crest. And I just want to publicly put it out there. The reason why that project is being pushed back is that gives CT Consultants an opportunity to do the engineering work on that road. As we all know, there's a water issue up there, and we done something probably about 10, 15 years ago with some stormwater issue up there, but we're continuing to have that. So we want to make sure that it's correct before we invest the money in that. That's why that project was pushed back, okay? So I want everybody to understand why that project was pushed back. And then lastly, just again, Council, I thank you so much for your support. As I indicated earlier, I get 3 phone calls. One comes at 7 o'clock in the morning. Our wonderful Vice Mayor make sure that I'm up and going in the morning, and she starts me on our day. I thank her for that. And then Ms. Banks and her team every morning. The doctor had me doing some light exercises going down the sidewalk. Here they come. And then, of course, our village manager making sure that I'm on point. But again, team, this was not so much of a physical thing for me. It was a mental thing. I have never been down before this long. And just the mere fact of how this accident happened was a little freaky. But I thank God that I'm still here with you guys today. I'm fully released now. The doctor said don't come back in his office. I'm excited. Now I know that it's at the end of the school year, but I am so ready to go back into the schools. And I know that our school year is ending so much, but I miss those babies as well. So again, thank you so much for that. I just wanted to publicly put that out there. A little private on my part, and that's my take, is being a little bit private. So I didn't go around and shout it out, but again, internally from the village standpoint, all of you have been so supportive of me, and I can't thank you guys enough. The Vice Mayor, each time that I watched the meetings, she made me so proud. And not to say that she learned from me, but she learned over the years. Cindy is nothing, she has nobody new around here, and she has learned over the years. So Vice Mayor, I thank you for just stepping in and doing what is said of the Vice Mayor. I had to do that on multiple occasions in the past, and if it doesn't do anything, it makes you feel great that you served in that role. So publicly, thank you for that. So enough of all of that. I kind of went through that, but I do need one thing from the Vice Mayor, and that's the approval of my Mayor's Court monthly statement.
Are you asking for a motion?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I would like to make a motion to approve the mayor's monthly statement for March in the amount of $22,797.98.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved and properly second. All ayes?
Aye.
Very well. Approval of bond contract. All right. We ready for legislation? All right.
The first item is resolution number 13, 2024, A resolution authorizing the municipal manager to enter into a sale purchase agreement with the Hamilton County Land Reutilization Corporation to acquire vacant land located at 84 Waverly Avenue and 612 Marion Road.
Okay. All right. 13.
Is that the same?
Oh, this is the next one.
Okay. 13 and 14.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I don't have the 13.
All right.
It's right here.
Resolution number 13,
okay.
2024. I need a motion for passage of resolution number 13, 2024.
I'd like to make a motion for passage of resolution number 13, 2024.
I'll second.
Motion been moved and properly second. Roll call, please.
Pass.
Esther Boyd,
Yeah,
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Cindy Chandler,
Aye.
Pamela Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Michelle Starr.
I have a question. Just a quick question.
Yes.
What is the purpose for acquiring that property?
What's the purpose?
For acquiring that particular property?
We're going to use it for our community garden.
No,
Is that what
this
you're
one's
saying?
different.
No,
It's
no, so
Waverly.
this is
Oh.
land that was
Which
held
one?
by the Cincinnati Port Authority. The port holds the land, land bank holds the land, and then they have the ability to sell the land, right? And so, they always give the village the opportunity to purchase the land at a very low rate. It's like $1,000
Very cheap.
per plat. And we normally take them up on it, because that way we can control the land and do what we want to do with it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Very well.
Aye.
The next item is resolution number 14, 2024, a resolution authorizing the municipal manager to enter into a temporary license agreement with the Mill Creek Alliance for a special event.
All right. I need a motion for passage of resolution number 14, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 14, 2024.
I'll second the motion.
Motion been moved and properly second. Roll call.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Cindy Chandler,
Aye.
Pamela Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Michelle Starr,
Aye.
Esther Boyd.
And the last item is the item that was added, ordinance number 06, 2024, an ordinance amending ordinance number 04, 2024 to increase the maximum interest rate for the notes and declaring an emergency.
I need a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance number 06, 2024.
I do have a question.
Uh-huh.
May I?
Sure.
The terms don't change other than the amount, correct? The length doesn't change on,
The only thing
No.
that's different is the interest rate.
Okay.
Everything
That's it.
else on the other ordinance is the same.
okay, thank you.
Okay. I need a motion for suspending of the rules of ordinance number 06, 2024.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance number 06, 2024.
I'll second.
Motion been moved and properly second. Roll call.
Cindy Chandler,
Aye.
Pamela Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Michelle Starr,
Aye.
Esther Boyd,
Aye.
Rosemary Brown.
Aye.
I need a motion for passage of ordinance number 06, 2024.
I'll make a motion for passage for ordinance number 06 to 2024.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved and properly second. Roll call on the passage, please.
Cindy Chandler,
Aye.
Pamela Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Michelle Starr,
Aye.
Esther Boyd,
Aye.
Rosemary Brown.
Aye.
I need a motion declaring an emergency or to ordinance number 06, 2024.
I'll make a motion to declare ordinance number 06, 2024 an emergency.
I'll second that motion.
Motion been moved and properly second on the emergency. Roll call, please.
Pamela Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Michelle Starr,
Aye.
Esther Boyd,
Aye.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Cindy Chandler.
Aye.
That's all we have.
That all I have? Okay. All right. Is there any new business that comes before this council?
Is this?
Ha- Go ahead, Ms. Brown.
I have one piece
Sure.
of business that I'd like to bring forth. It's regarding resolution number 162008. and that's the resolution regarding, it's giving criteria for establishing a criteria for use by village council in deeming an activity, service, or product of public purpose. And I would like that we could have this information brought back to us at our CAL meeting. We can look at it and see if it needs to be amended. It gives the criteria as to when we can offer up the village property or use of the village's rooms
Very
or
well.
whatever
Thank you, Joe.
at a free,
I got you.
free to that person
Okay.
or entity.
Or reduced.
Or reduced.
I like that.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I would like for that to be brought up at
Sure.
our CAL meeting.
If you could,
And if Emily, or take a look at it and have
Sure.
any suggestions that she may have.
okay,
So that we'll make sure that we're in compliance
Okay.
and amend it in any way that may need to be.
okay.
I have a comment. May I have a copy of that prior to the CAL meeting?
Sure.
Yeah, it can,
What we'll do is,
Like it's
Tim,
either
if you could, get it from Monica and put it in the packet, and then everybody will have a copy of it, okay?
It's resolution number
16,
16,
2008. Okay, very well. We can make that happen.
we'll pull that tomorrow, and I'll see that it's sent to everybody.
No problem, no problem, okay.
Yeah.
All right, all right.
I
Yes,
have a comment, or, yeah, a comment. I have two. One, I wanted to speak on, in our last finance committee meeting, I brought up the subject of a child care center located on Springfield Pike, and on how the village could assist with providing grants to help improvements of that center. And Tim, you pointed me towards Alloy.
Alloy. Yeah.
I spoke with Alloy, and they told me that CRG, the Community Revitalization Grant, only supported nonprofits, and with that center being retail, for-profit, that owner couldn't benefit.
Okay.
But what I wanted to bring up today was the CDBG, and I know you're meeting tomorrow, correct? No, you're not meeting tomorrow? Okay, never mind.
Hey.
So I wanted to bring up that CDBG again,
Mhm.
because I see opportunities with that lot for economic development and assisting other small businesses.
Sure.
So there are several ways that that grant could assist the center so it can add value to the village. For one, with quality improvement. If those funds could be allocated to improve the overall quality of that center, it will align with the recent actions put forth by our Vice President Harris to lower child care costs and support early educators. So she announced that there were key steps to lower the cost of child care for working families and better support early educators by having the Department of Health and Human Services strengthen development block grants, which support over 1 million families each month. Also, another way that that grant can help is with infrastructure improvements. So CDBG funds could be used to upgrade the facility's infrastructure, ensuring that it meets the highest safety and accessibility standards. There are several ways. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'm going to send you an email. Economic development. By improving that center, the grant could attract more families to that area, boosting the local businesses. And even partnerships. There are so many yellow school buses that use her lot to turn around because of the side street is so small. And the Wyoming Rec soccer field that's across the street use her lot as parking for their events. So the Village of Woodlawn can establish a partnership. I'm speaking, just thinking out loud here, and I'm going to make this quick, can partner with the Princeton City School District and Wyoming Rec to create an integrated community support system. So those are just some priorities on how the grant can help her facility, so her facility can add value to the thing. And I just wanted to bring it up, just to put it out there on how it can complement.
So,
And
if you, this is kind of how I would like for you to kind of have that conversation with Tim, but I want to be very clear, so that anybody in TV land is not hearing a misperception. We, the Village of Woodlawn, cannot advocate for someone else's business with county money. We can't. They have to go out. This particular business, and I know who you're talking about, came to this council 2 years ago, if it's not been 3, within a 2-year, 3-year period. At that time, it wasn't the fact that she was looking for help, but what can she do to her business? Because at that time, we were talking about economic development, things like that. What could she do to, better her business, the look of her business? And so now I'm seeing and hearing that she's looking for monetary help from the village. And so we have to be very careful in terms of how we advocate. That's all I'm saying is how we advocate for our businesses. We want to make sure that we're giving them the right information. But I do recall when she was here, we made sure that she left out of here with information concerning different grants that were available through the county. But again, we can't be the advocating piece for a business in the Village of Woodlawn, because if we do it for one, we have to do it for all. And then now we've really bogged down our village manager and the staff by providing those services. I see what you're saying, and I know that there might be a concern, but what I'd like for you to do is perhaps have a one-on-one with Tim, and then see what type of information that we can just send to her so that she can look into it.
yeah, so this isn't really for her. I'm not advocating for her. I'm advocating for the village. I'm thinking of potential growth for the village. If property that is available can be used for that block grant to use towards economic development.
Is it occupied? Is it
what?
occupied?
There is a section, there's a section that, that can be used to, for new construction, residential construction, that grant can support. She has expressed interest, so I am not advocating for her. I'm advocating, think if her property became new construction for residential facility, how that will fare well with more people coming to live in Woodlawn and more people wanting to just live and work here.
Okay.
So it's not her that I'm advocating
Right.
for, it's the growth and potential
So-
generating revenue for the
Right.
village.
So when we talk about CDBG grants, CDBG grants, we, again, as you heard him, Tim mention today about getting awarded, that we've been working those grants for some time. We're in a better position because of those grants today than we were 5 years ago.
And there is no
Right.
maximum, so
And
we can
so,
apply for more.
yeah, so we don't stop, we don't stop, we continue to do it. But again, I think, let's just have that one-on-one conversation, about kind of where you're going. I would love to be part of that conversation. If we want to do a Zoom, however you want to do it, we can do that.
Can I just add one piece? And Michelle, I hear you very clearly, and I'm not going to get into whatever. However, CDBG grants, so I see it being utilized better with our master plans that we're working with, our economic development plans that we have out there on the forefront. When we talk about growth, economic development, benefiting the village, because we have some areas in which we're looking at growing from the village perspective, and I think it makes it a little muddy because the piece of property you're mentioning is privately owned, but the village is acquiring property, and that to me will make it more clean. And once we acquire that property or the property that we have already acquired, we can take those grant funds and plug into the master plan that we have for the economic development grant. And I just see it utilized, personally, I see it utilized better that way, and it's clean, because as Mayor said, if we do something for one, I understand you're not advocating for one business, but it is a privately owned business.
Yes,
Okay.
but there
So-
is no cap on that grant,
We-
and that grant can be used for new residential construction
We-
per
I think we should.
property.
So
I
I
think
think
we
you and I
understand
should
that,
just
please.
maybe talk about
Yes.
that privately.
Yes.
because I think
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
we need to talk
yeah.
it through.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I have one more comment.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Okay, so you guys sent me up to Columbus to get training. I got 2 years worth of training in 8 hours, and I am still going through that material. And I wanted to bring back, the other day I was going through some of the material, and I saw a section that I thought would be interesting to the village. And I just wanted to share that with you guys today. This is so, this was eye-catching. OML talked about economic development. And the first, in that presentation with economic development, I saw opportunities for generating more revenue in the village. Many municipalities generate their revenue via income tax. And I learned that data centers can also increase revenue via electricity. So you guys know, you've heard about cloud storage and putting your stuff on the cloud. Well, the data centers are the cloud. Data centers are computers that are housed inside of a warehouse, a physical facility where all our stuff goes. And we access it through the internet. And these data centers are in warehouses that are, that take up about 10 acres to almost 200 acres. And they're provided, these centers are provided by large companies like Microsoft, Google, and Amazon. And they generate, these data centers generate a lot and need a lot of electricity. I mean, a lot. They, for example, just a little math, 1 megawatt of power equals 1 million kilowatt hours. On your electric bill, you guys are used to seeing kilowatt hours, but 1 megawatt of power equals 1 million kilowatt hours. And I don't know how many companies Woodlawn has here, but for an example, a town with 100 companies uses, let's say, 20 megawatts of power. That will generate $2 million annually. So for every 10 megawatt powers, you're gonna get $1 million annually. One data center uses 300 to 900 megawatts of power. 300 to 900 megawatts of power. That is a lot of electricity. The downside is data centers don't generate jobs because they don't need many people in there to work. It's just a facility with servers and networks. Them needing to have all of this electricity sparks like people's interest because it's just money, generating money using electricity. How it benefits the village is that the village can build its own electric utility company. And if, say for instance, a data center would need 250 megawatts of power, then a town can build a 300 megawatt electric facility. And that money that is generated can be used to pay off loans and do other things for that village. So just to keep you, not overload you with information, these large data center providers like Microsoft, Google, and Amazon, they send out large large community real estate brokers to go and find available sites to house their facilities. And it could be as small as 10 acres. 10 acres is what, about 20 houses or so put together? And I know the Village of Woodlawn prides itself on its greenery and its green space, but in the industrial section of Woodlawn, there is probably space, or in unused property, there's space easily to get 10 acres. And I'm bringing it up today to say, if you guys are ever approached with a company coming to the village asking if we would be interested in housing a data center, I think we should say yes. 'Cause
Well, let me stop right there. I really want to stop right there, because I never want to take the decision that can come from the manager. What we might think is good, he may think differently, right? So again, I think that this is a conversation that we probably need to have with Tim to see what the long-term benefit is for the community, right? But some of these things that we learn in these different trainings that you go to, you know, they sound good, but you know, what does it really cost to start up? What does it, you know, all of those variables that come into play. But again, I think that's a conversation that we probably want to start with our village manager, and then before being brought out maybe to the group.
Okay.
Yeah, because we could talk all night with that one, you know, about electricity and how they're doing electric and, you know, generating stuff like that. But
Yeah, I think, you know.
it's different. That's for sure different.
You know, in my travels, I've seen a kilowatt per hour tax. I've only seen a couple places that have done it. It would be interesting to reach out to them and see what the infrastructure cost and kind of how that started. But you know, again, I have no issues if somebody wants to research that, researching it.
Right now,
Okay.
right
Yeah.
now, Meta, Facebook is building right next door in Indiana,
Sure.
$800 million just on a small data center.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll look into it.
Okay.
Okay. That'd be great. I appreciate that. Good stuff, but yeah.
So that was it.
I do have one item,
Yes.
last item of new business,
Yes. Oh, okay.
if everyone's on, just before we adjourn.
Did you say something? Did you say something?
No,
Ms. Yehad distributed to everyone a request from the Ohio Division of Liquor Control on to transfer a liquor permit. This has to do with the Pike. We have until May 16th to respond, so we should have a motion tonight. I don't think there's any reason to request a hearing, so the motion would be a motion to not request a hearing so that Ms. Yehad can return the document to
You hear
Liquor
that?
Control.
Did y'all hear that?
You're asking for a motion?
Yeah.
I'd like it,
We don't need a hearing?
right,
That we-
I'd like to make a motion to not have a hearing on the Department of Liquor Control regarding the establishment named The Pike.
I'll second.
All right. Motion been moving properly second. Let's do a roll call on that, please.
Is that Ms. Fitzgerald with the second?
Yes.
Mr. Boyd,
aye.
Rosemary Brown.
Aye.
Eddie Chandler,
Aye.
Emma Fitzgerald.
Aye.
Robert Lawson.
Aye.
Michelle Starr.
Aye.
All right. Very well. All right. You have anything else?
Go ahead.
You got anything else? All right. We are down to the bottom. I need a motion for adjournment.
I'd like to make a motion for adjournment.
I'll second.
All right. Motion been moving properly second. All ayes? Aye. Very well.